This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, May the 25th. I know that he's dead and all that. He's been dead for more than 40 years, but I had to try to find someone for May 25th, and this is the last guy I can find for May 25th. So, that day will be gone. Anyway, this guy was a boxer for 13 years and actually held the heavyweight belt from 1926 to 1928. He was one of the best technical boxers around. He would have a rivalry with Harry Greb, which he was 3-1-1 against. And then he would beat up on Georges Compartier, who was supposed to be unbeatable, and then took down Jack Dempsey twice. Of course, the second fight would be known as the long count fight. And he was actually undefeated as a heavyweight. His name is Gene Tunney, although he was born James Joseph Tunney. But he wanted to change it to Gene for some reason. Anyway, Gene Tunney was born in New York City, while his mother immigrated to the U.S. after the Great Potato Famine. So she settled in New York City. So they had 7 children. He's one of 7 children, and Tunney fought 68 professional fights, only losing one to Harry Greb, but he was a light heavyweight. So Tunney was amazing. Lifetime was 82-1-4. So many ties though. But anyway, yeah, Tunney was amazing. All that. Anyway, Tunney could be counted on to excel in defense. Tunney would defeat Tommy Gibbons, Georges Compartier, and many other fine boxers in his career. So anyway, he actually spent the winter of 1921 as a lumberjack in Northern Ontario without revealing he was a boxer. So that was kind of weird. He wanted it. So, he was actually the first ever Fighter of the Year by Ring Magazine in 1928. Inducted to many Hall of Fames, including the World Boxing Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and the U.S. Marine Corps Hall of Fame. Tunney actually enlisted in the Marine Corps during World War I and was a private for a regiment in France, and later in Germany during the occupation of the Rhineland in 1919. He saw no combat duty and spent most of the war in the Marine boxing team, becoming the U.S. Forces champion. He would actually remain in the Marine Corps as major in the naval militia. Following the U.S. entry into World War II, he accepted a commission in the Naval Reserve as a lieutenant commander to set up a physical fitness program for student pilots, and would head the physical fitness program for the duration of the war. He would be promoted to commander and captain for his service with the Navy and all that. So he did pretty well for himself. Tunney was actually a thinking fighter who wanted to make boxing into a game of chess. Because, sluggers were coming in, but into a game of chess. All that. He did some stuff and all that. So he would study his opponents and all that. Tunney was actually knocked down only once in his career, and that was during the long count fight with Jack Dempsey. He actually was one of 5 heavyweight champions to retire without ever suffering a stoppage defeat. Tunney alongside Rocky Marciano, Lennox Riddick Bowe, Sultan Ibragimov, and Nikolai Valuev did that. But Tunney alongside Rocky Marciano, Lennox Lewis, and Vitaly Klitschko actually were the only heavyweight champions to retire as champion and to end their career with a win in a world title fight. So anyway, he did his job and all that. So yeah. there were a couple of moments in the 1930s that he was really in cultural references. So anyway, he did that. Well, let's talk about. Well, anyway, he actually married a wealthy socialite named Polly Lauder, who actually lived to 101 years old, which was very amazing and all that. I mean, they raised 4 children. One son, John Tunney, was a U.S. representative and U.S. senator from California between 1965 and 1977. Also, Jonathan and Jean Lauder Tunney, who would become a lawyer and district attorney for Sonoma County for 20 years. So anyway, yeah, Polly Lauder, April 2008. So Polly lasted 101 years. That's amazing. Tunney would unfortunately die because of a circulation ailment, but he was 81 years old, so it wasn't so bad. So we might as well talk about the long count. Match. This was the rematch because Tunney beat Dempsey in Philadelphia. A unanimous decision. Anyway, actually the first fight was supposed to be in Chicago, but Dempsey learned that Al Capone could bribe the referees and all that. Anyway, the rematch was held in Chicago, and they would be trying to make sure that, Jack Dempsey did not, the fight wasn't fixed. Tunney was knocked down, and all that. But he knew that Jack Dempsey forgot the new rules. That meant he had to go to a neutral corner while the referee counts the opponent down. However, what was strange is the referee screwed up because the timekeeper makes the count when the guy was down, and then the referee, after getting the boxer to the neutral corner, will pick up the count from the timekeeper. But he didn't. He started his own count, and Tunney knew this and waited till the referee's count of 9, which was the actual count of 14, to get up, and then he beat Dempsey. There's a lot of dispute about who should win that fight. But the fact of the matter of that fight is it actually didn't ruin both guys. Dempsey was still a legend, and Gene Tunney too. In fact, Dempsey would help Gene Tunney's son out politically with getting the spot to be Senator of California. So that worked out. So yeah, they remained good friends, and that's what everyone likes. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.